Alright everyone, David White here. Thank you so much for joining me, and I've got a very quick 10-minute video to share with you the test results that I got from the survey that we did about 10 days ago, and also a few tips on how you can start feeling younger right now without doing anything massively difficult or stressful. First things first, these are our survey results from last week, so please don't share this with anyone, but let's get straight into it. Now, about a year ago, I interviewed a man called Dr. Dan Kalish, who is well known around the world as the leading hormone expert in the health and wellness industry, and he looks a little bit something like this. Quite a few of you should remember him from his presentation that he did at the Female Hormone Solution, and he said something that I found to be very interesting, and I was reminded of that when I saw the results of the survey that we did not that long ago. So I'll call this the Kalish prophecy, and here's what Dr. Kalish had to say. Terrible photo of him, as you can see. I'll apologize to him for that later. Here we go.
So, on the surface, you wouldn't think that digestive issues would relate to hormones at all. That seems a little strange, but it's very, very consistent. And I've seen this like every year I've been in practice, which is if you could line up my last year of patients and look at the level of dysfunction on the female hormone side, and then the level of dysfunction on the digestive testing, they're going to be an exact match. Exact match. You cannot have an extremely messed up hormonal system and have perfect digestion. It just doesn't exist.
Now, what I want you to keep in mind is those words that Dr. Kalish said, an exact match, and you can't have a healthy hormonal system if your digestive system's out. So I looked at the test results from our survey about an hour after I sent it out, and first of all, thank you to everyone who responded to that. And here's what it looked like. The first question was, which would you like the most? And as you can see, the two most popular options were heal my hormones and improve my digestion. But there was an exact match in the number of votes that we got for both of those. So I checked again after about, I think it was 24 hours, and here we go. Here were the results again. Most popular, heal my hormones and improve my digestion, again an exact match. Now I just had a look at the results of this just now. At this point, there'd been over 3,000 answers to this question, and here's what popped up. Now, over 3,000 people voted, and there was a difference of about 6. So this is about as close to you can get as an exact match. And as you can see, there must be some kind of link between hormones and digestion. So let's talk about that now really quickly. Basically, digestion is usually the first system of our bodies that's usually affected whenever we do something that's considered to be unhealthy, whether that's not exercising, staying up too late, drinking too much water, eating bad food, eating sugar, drinking too much alcohol, whatever it might be. Hormones are usually the first thing that are affected when our digestion's off. So the proof is in the pudding. We just saw that with our survey results. Most people said they want to heal their hormones and improve their digestion. And Dr. Kalish said it as well. So what's the link between these two? Well, really simply, basically there are good bugs and bacteria in your digestive system. Now, you might have heard them talked about before as gut flora or the microbiome or something like that. But their basic job is to make all the precursors or ingredients, if you will, for your hormones. Now, if they can't do their job for whatever reason, then your hormones can't get made properly and there's no way you can have a healthy hormonal system. So this can lead to some problems like energy and fatigue problems, which 50% of the respondents in our survey last week said they had. Brain fog, 23.7%. Can't get a flat stomach, 26%. Disrupted sleep, 23%, and weight loss problems, 30%. Now, I know this adds up to over 100%, but the reason for that is that I gave you the chance to vote for two options here, so that's why we come up with those weird math numbers. That one stumped me for a little while, but then I realized what was going on. So the end result is this. Most people who have too much bad bacteria that fights against the good bacteria in their stomach will suffer from a really predictable pattern of symptoms. They'll wake up every day feeling tired. Everything they do will seem to take more of an effort. They'll constantly feel fatigued and overwhelmed. They'll lose motivation for things that used to be important to them, or they're not as interested in them anymore. And you'd look at these and think, well, exercise is the simple solution to that. But in fact, exercise is not the solution. The solution is a lot easier than that. You don't need to go and join a gym and do 5 or 6 hours of exercise a week to overcome these kind of issues. So the real key to overcoming the digestive problems, which are the root cause to your hormonal issues, is really very simple. Eat foods that the good bacteria in your stomach love. Eat food that kill the bad bacteria in your stomach. create a healthy digestive environment, and lastly, follow a few really simple nutrition hacks that will help your digestive system start healing straight away. Now, if you're eating already, which I'm going to imagine that you are if you're listening to this, there's really not a huge amount that you need to do over and above that. There's just kind of a couple of tweaks that need to be made to get your digestive system back on track and start healing your hormones and making you feel younger again. Exercising harder won't make this problem go away. So let's talk about a client of mine. Now, we'll call her H, even though that's not her name. She was a 35-year-old mother of two, and here's what she said to me when she came and joined the gym. She wanted to lose weight. She couldn't lose the extra weight that she'd put on since her children, no matter what she'd tried. She'd tried high-carb diets, low-carb, paleo, Atkins, calorie restrictions, strength training, cardio training, you name it, she'd tried it, and none of it worked. She was tired all the time, even after she'd woken up after a 9-hour sleep. She didn't feel as young as she used to, just she was worn out all the time, I think were the words that she used. She felt like she had no time left for herself at the end of every day because everything that she did felt like such a huge battle. And lastly, she was overwhelmed by the thought of needing to do more of anything, exercise especially. So here was her underlying problem. She was eating good food, but because her digestive system wasn't working properly, she couldn't turn that into good hormones. Her body was constantly fighting the bad bugs in her stomach instead of running the hormonal system and doing things like breaking food down into the ingredients of hormones like we discussed earlier. Her food wasn't getting fully digested, and undigested food is something that bad bacteria absolutely love. And she wasn't doing any of the good bacteria friendly, or she wasn't eating any of the good bacteria friendly foods, getting tongue tied here, or doing any of the hacks that I'm about to teach you, which was a big problem. She felt awful and she just couldn't understand it. So how did we fix it? And I'm going to ask that you start doing these things, because if you come and see someone like a Dr. Dan Kalish or any other hormonal doctor, they'll want to know that your digestive system is working properly before they have a look at your hormone system. And these are the very first things that you need to start doing to get your digestive system working. So the first thing is a digestion hack where you get a little bit of apple cider vinegar or lemon juice and mix that with a little bit of water and drink that about 15 minutes before every meal. Now, the digestion that happens in your stomach, or the process of digestion that happens in your stomach, is a very important one, and most people generally have low stomach acid. And if you think you've got reflux or something like that, that's also a symptom of low stomach acid. Now, what this apple cider vinegar or lemon juice water will do, or tip will do, is help your stomach start breaking down food by increasing the acidity that should be there. Now, good food, if undigested, even the best organic, free-range, pesticide and chemical-free food can still feed the bad bacteria in your gut, and when that happens, your good bacteria have to spend all their time fighting against them, and thus impact your hormonal system. Drinking anything during a meal dilutes the stomach acid that you already have, and makes healthy food into fuel for bad bacteria. So basically think about your stomach as a big sack of acid, and if you go and pour a whole bunch of water or something like that into it before you eat a meal, you reduce the acidity of what's already there and make it a lot harder for your stomach to do its job. And the last thing is to include some bad bacteria killing foods like garlic, coconut oil, onion, olive oil, turmeric, ginger and whatnot at every single meal, because that will start killing off those bad bacteria. Now, here are the results that we got for H. Just doing this really simple kind of stuff, here's what happened. She immediately felt her energy lift. She woke up feeling better than she did before she went to bed, not worse. She had a huge improvement in her digestion, and most importantly, she ended up needing to eat less, because less of the food that she was eating was getting turned into food for these bad bacteria, and her good bacteria were using it to run her hormonal system. She actually wanted to exercise. She felt like she had so much energy increase that she wanted to do something with it and start lifting weights and whatnot. And things just became easier for her throughout the day. What had felt like a battle before and what had felt like a massive struggle just became something that was just a lot more normal to her. Her cravings changed, and this was a big one. She used to crave things like sugar and alcohol and whatnot, which is generally the bad bugs in your stomach talking to your brain and telling your brain what they want. But for her, she started craving things like green leafy vegetables and whatnot, which is crazy to think about, but that's something that really happens when you start getting healthy. And lastly, she totally got rid of her need for coffee. She would wake up in the morning and think, you know what, I just don't need that. So here's what I've got for you if you've liked this video and you're interested in using some of these really simple digestion hacks. Now, in the survey that we did last week, about 99% of you said you'd be interested in an over my shoulder look into the healthy tips and strategies that I've been taught to use with my clients to help them achieve their goals, and I've gone one better for you. So what I've done is lined up a free webinar called 3 Digestion and Hormone Hacks to get you feeling younger again in 10 days with Paul Chek, who I'm sure you're all familiar with and would have heard of before. We're going to cover the 3 biggest things that you need to do to start feeling younger and having more energy right now that won't cost you time or money. Now, as you can tell from this first digestion hack that I've just shared with you, it doesn't take a huge amount of expense. In fact, it doesn't take any expensive supplements. It doesn't take a lot of time to start getting results in this area, and it doesn't have to be something that's ridiculously stressful to your lifestyle. We're going to sit down and do Q&A at the end so everyone knows exactly what they need to do moving forward to start feeling younger again in 10 days. And here are the times that we've got. If you're in California, like Paul, the time will be Wednesday, the 18th of November at 5 p.m. Or if you're in Sydney like me, the time will be midday on Thursday, the 19th of November. And I'll give you a time zone converter in just a second. And lastly, seats are limited. And I know people say this all the time to try and make people sign up to their webinars and whatnot, but we actually do have limited seats. We can only get 1,000 people onto the webinar, and as of right now, we've got 1,072 signed up. Now, not everyone who's registered is going to sign up. I know that much is true. And if you haven't registered yet, there's good news. Seats aren't given away based on who registered first. Seats are given away on who shows up first. So here's what I want you to do. Click on the link that you'll see below and register to get your attendance link. You're not going to get added to any weird mailing list or anything like that. We just need to get your email address so we can send you an attendance link. God, I'm struggling with that word today. Download your healthy digestion blueprint and body language log, and make sure you print these out before we go live. You'll need these because there are a lot of action steps that you're going to have on there. Start improving your digestive health and your hormonal health right now by using the digestion hack I just taught you, because on the webinar we're going to assume that that's something that you're already doing. Make sure you show up 15 minutes early to the webinar to save your seat. There's a really good chance that some people might get locked out, so the earlier you show up, the better. We'll make sure that we've got a seat for you. And lastly, click the link below and register. As I said, seats are limited. I'd love to see you all on there. I'm looking forward to answering all your questions with Paul and teaching you about our digestion and hormone hacks to get you feeling younger again straight away. And lastly, thank you so much to everyone who voted on that survey that I sent around about 10 days ago. I really appreciate that. And I'll see you all on the webinar.